F major at his second chord. It's finally time for me to talk about the new Protomartyr record. Oh boy. Okay, so Protomartyr, how have you been? I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. I'm doing okay too. I'm a little sick, but we're gonna get through this together. Protomartyr. Okay, Protomartyr is a post-punk band from Detroit who released one of my favorite records of 2015. That is to say, The Agent Intellect. I say post-punk, but there's also a little garage in there, a little street-up punk, little just rock and roll. It's post-punk because it's angular, it's lean, it's mean, and it has that literate anger, that vicious intelligence that a Joy Division or a Gang of Four record would have. Vicious intelligence, I like that. It's not, none of that fancy New York bull roar with the reverb and the disco rhythm. So not even though that there is a place for that. Protomartyr hit like a brick. Protomartyr hit like a brick. Not to say that they can't be subtle, but they hit like a brick. Protomartyr has released their fourth record last month. It's been out for about half a month now. It is called Relatives in Descent. I like this album. First off, I just like Protomartyr. I like what they do. Protomartyr is four guys, okay? It's four guys. There's Alex Leonard, he plays the drums. There's Scott Davison, he plays the bass. There's Greg Ahe, who plays the guitar and keyboards. And there's Joe Casey. Joe Casey is like almost twice as old as everyone else in the band. And he quote unquote sings. He's not much of a singer, but he has presence. Oh boy, he has presence. He's tuneful, but it's close to spoken word in a sense, He's not melismatic and melodramatic. He's a very economical singer, and he gets a lot of words out with a lot of force and a lot of emotion, and I dig it. I do think it's good. I think that his singing is one of the things that makes Protomartyr special, but only one of the things. I like Ahe's guitar tone as well, which at various points, it can roar, it can growl, it can chime, it can sing and ring, but I think it is best when it is slashing and burning. These tones that are sharp, that either cut through the mix to the heart of the song, or they just destroy the mix in noise and distortion. Invigorating stuff. And let's not forget Scott Davison and Alex Leonard, because Scott Davison, the bass player, is reliable. He is steady. He is fast when he has to be, but he can just lay down a heavy bass groove. And Alex Leonard is a secret weapon. Joe Casey has gone on record saying that part of what lets him perform as a singer is Alex Leonard going away behind him, and that is absolutely the case. Alex Leonard does these great off-kilter rhythms. He's great driving drums. He's great pounding sort of pulses that don't really... They feel like rock songs, but they feel a little off. Sometimes they are a little off. Sometimes it's just oof. I'm going to get the flaws out of the way first. Casey's singing style is not for everyone. Sort of that declamatory, not 100% tuneful, not for everyone. All that guitar noise, not for everyone. Personally, I think that some of the songs that are more rhythmically straightforward are a little weaker than the songs that have more idiosyncratic rhythms. That's a me thing. Some people might say that, it sounds a little samey. I would not say it sounds a little samey, because the songs do not sound the same. Each song has a distinct identity, a distinct feel. They sound like different songs. I would instead say that the record is focused, that it has a sonic cohesion. It is reliable. It is a very reliable record that very, very, very reliably displays its thorns and its venom. I've talked about the flaws that the record may or may not have. I'm going to start talking about how much I like the record. I'm going to start at the beginning. A Private Understanding. That was the first single, and it comes in with this it's a sort of guitar pattern. This is a drum pattern, and I don't quite know how to follow it every time it comes in. And then Gregory comes in, and he's almost burning already. And Davidson as well with this steady boom, 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 boom. And Joe Casey starts telling, he starts rambling, and he tells this weird story about Elvis. Evidently, this is a true story about how Elvis he was driving, and he saw Joseph Stalin's face in the clouds, and this is Joe Casey's word, he was disheartened. I love the way he uses that word. It understates what must have, because then he goes out and then he sees the Lord. He sees Jesus in another cloud, and it, quote, affected him profoundly, but he could never describe the feeling. And you're left with this relatively plain description of what must have been something profound, and then the band just rows out, and he starts screaming about how she's trying to reach you. Who is she? Who knows? These songs are mysterious. There are weird noises that just happen, and people are upset, and people try to connect with each other. Strangers ramble at one another about nothing. There's an allegory in which people, they rise up against a corrupt leader who lives at the top of a giant tower, which is perhaps one of the album's most lovely moments, when they open the window and let the light in, and then they throw him out. This is not organized. I have planned out most of these things that I am saying, but mostly I'm just letting my love of the album just sort of shine through in the pace of my voice. Let me spare a kind word for I love the drum fill, the drum rhythm in A Private Understanding. Thank you, Alex Leonard. Scott Davidson, I love the bass line in Corpses in Regalia, the penultimate song. It's just a good bass line. It's very solid. Greg Ahi, I love the chiming tone in The Chuckler, and I like the sense of the synthesizer sounds and more sensitive playing in Night Blooming Sirius. And I just love the riff in My Children. That's a great beginning riff. In the slow section, as it builds intensity, as the riff becomes faster and louder and more melodically complex, as it increases in those three dimensions, as the rhythm section pounds faster and harder. That's great. I love Joe Casey, the singer in A Private Understanding. I love him in My Children. I love him in I think Up the Tower is a full band highlight, because it has, that's where the let the light in, throw him out comes from. And there's this moment of perfect calm when the window opens, where the distortion falls away and he plays a single clean chord, and then Joe Casey starts screaming, throw him out, and then it just ugly noise comes out. And the rhythm just starts to churn the song, just starts churning the tape. And then Windsor Hum, wherein, I love this one. It's got this lovely skip, the bum ba dum ba dum. And Alex Leonard's playing around this very steady bass line being played by Davidson. And again, this is a very chiming, a cutting tone in the guitar. And then Joe Casey sings perhaps my favorite lines, my favorite refrain, certainly, of the record. Want what you're given, and need what you'll never have. And that line for me somehow sums up the anger, the disillusionment, the loathing of oneself and one another that sort of fuels this record emotionally, that informs the edge of its sound. I'm going to give this record, did I give Fleet Foxes a B+? I'm going to give this record an A. I think this record is as good as Crack Up in a completely different way. It's not that rich, subtle. I mean, maybe it is. It can be, subtle. But you listen to the Fleet Foxes record because it's subtle. You listen to this Protomartyr record because it feels like a punch to the face and it is invigorating.